This episode of The Dinger is brought to you by The Ringer, bringing you the best in semi-pro fan-based sports analysis and mediocre pop culture. Bill Simmons and his semi-celebrity friends get together on his series of podcasts to break down the best in professional sports as well as tech, movies, and music blogs of the shallowest kind. Right now on The Ringer, get 100% off your first 50 downloads from the Ringer Podcast Network. This includes the flagship BS show, the NFL show, the NBA show, the MLB show, that binge-watchable thing, Against All Odds,
House of Cards,
the David Chang Show, and so much more. The Ringer, beefing it with our buds and making money doing it, baby. Welcome back
Nicely
to another
done.
episode of The Dinger.
Nicely done.
Thank you. So, this is September 18th, technically 19th, as we've crossed the midnight hour.
Yes.
It's one thing on our minds.
Waiver Wire Wednesday is what it is.
Yeah, Waiver Wire Wednesday and week 2 of the NFL.
We're in week 3 now.
Well, we're going to talk about... Well, we're talking about both. We'll talk about week 2 and week 3.
All right.
So, basically, so far, the NFL has been mostly unpredictable. We don't know who's good. We know the Rams are good.
Yeah.
We know the Chiefs' offense is good.
Yeah.
How much else do we know?
Not much. In fact, the only one you could probably say that the Rams are probably good.
Yeah, the Rams are good. We know that.
They're pretty solid.
We know the Bills suck, and we know the Cardinals suck.
It's like the return of the greatest show on turf. Kind of. That's the vibe we're getting right now. I think it's exciting.
Kept you waiting, huh? No, loving the Rams.
They will lose a game.
They will lose
a game.
Probably. No, but
just look at the schedule. They'll probably lose a game.
Let's pull up the Rams schedule. Let's start with the Rams. I like this as an opening topic here.
I just had it open. History.
So they play the Chargers this week at home. A 1 o'clock start, Pacific time. We're gonna get to our bets later. I have them in a parlay that I like. We'll get to that later, but the two LA teams meet at the Coliseum. The Rams, I believe, are a 7.5 point favorite. I would take the Rams. We'll get to that later. But
I would take the Chargers against the spread to cover. Yeah, against the spread. I think the Rams probably win, but they won't win that much.
I think they will. I think the Rams look like a legitimate super team in the NFL.
I think they've dropped 30 points on two not so great teams. So
I'll definitely give you the Raiders and the Cardinals as not great teams.
Yeah.
But I still feel like
they were pretty slow out the
best
gate
is yet to come
against the Raiders, and then they made the adjustments and grew.
They were kind of slow starting last year too, but
yeah.
So basically, they're already 2-0. They play the Chargers at home. They go to the Seahawks after their bye. Because they have an early bye. They have a week 4 bye, which I don't think hurts.
They're playing Minnesota in week 4.
This format that I'm looking at here is that's a fucking prime time. Vikings at Rams, Thursday night. That's September 27th.
Is that a Thursday night game?
It is.
Oh my god.
So that's after they host the Chargers. Then they go to Seattle. Then they go to Denver.
I would take Minnesota on that one.
I would not. But I'm all on the Rams.
I'm trying to tame your. I'm trying to tame your fan enthusiasm. It's fine to be excited. It's not good to bank money on it. That's all.
Pro football in Los Angeles is happening. So
Never wanted it, but that's okay.
You know, there's some butthurt
we never
people
needed it either.
in LA that are, you know, the St. Louis thing. You know,
Where are the
wasn't
Raiders?
great.
Where are the Raiders? Give me the LA Raiders.
I would love the LA Raiders. Honestly, I would have been okay if the Rams went to Vegas and the Raiders came back to LA and the Chargers stayed in San Diego.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. But it wouldn't have happened. If there was any of the Southern California teams that could go to Vegas, it had to be the Raiders.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so they're at sea. So here's my thing. I can run through this, and I can say I think that's a win. That's a loss.
All right, let's go through it.
Because I think everything for you will be a win.
Well, let me check.
But I could see them losing to Minnesota. I could see them losing to Denver at Denver.
I don't know about that.
We'll
know more when that comes up.
I can see them losing to New Orleans at New Orleans.
Depends on what we see from the Saints, but currently they don't look great.
Packers, I'm not sure about because I don't know about Aaron Rodgers' situation.
Yep. Chiefs.
And apparently
Chiefs.
Apparently the Packers aren't allowed to tackle. So
yeah, we'll get to that. That was ridiculous. But
they'll beat the Chiefs in Week 11 because the Chiefs will be not as good.
We don't know that.
We know
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes is fantastic.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. Like holy shit moment. But it is also a Monday night, a long week.
It's Monday night.
Andy Reid will have time to prepare.
That's an incredible game. ESPN got lucky there. Chiefs at Rams.
ESPN
could be a Super Bowl preview.
Could be. I still think, I love Andy Reid, but he likes to blow things in the playoffs. And I do think his teams come back down to earth after like September. It's just a thing.
We'll see. But then after that, they go to Detroit.
I also see them
They're
losing.
Probably going to win that game.
I see them losing to the Lions. I think they lose to the Lions. Trap game against the Bears. These are all trap games against the Eagles.
We're looking to head to Chicago. Yeah, a 2-week trap stretch at Detroit, at Chicago. Yeah, I don't see them losing either of those. Eagles at Rams. December 16th.
Isn't it the same time frame that they lost last year? Also, why does
before, I believe.
And why do they? I'm just curious. Why is Philadelphia on the road again? This is like the same thing that happened last year.
It's because the Rams were, I believe, the 3 or 4 seed. It's based on seeding.
Is it based on seeding?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Rams, despite having their best season in 14 years,
wasn't Philadelphia the number 1 seed?
They were the number 1 seed.
So why are they on the road?
Because they have to. They get to host the number 2, and I think they get to host the number 4. So I think the Rams got to number 3 last year in seeding.
Okay.
Because, yeah, they played the Falcons, and then the Saints, who won the South, hosted the Panthers. So you only get to... Because you play a first-place schedule when you win.
Right.
So, yeah. Because the Eagles, they get to host the Vikings this year, but then they have to go again to L.A. Whereas the year before, I think both the Rams and the Eagles finished 3rd or 4th or something.
Yeah. Anyway, I see the Rams. They can go. It's looking like they probably go like 13-3.
13-3 is what I'm thinking too.
Possibly they can go 10-6.
It's possible, yeah.
It's not likely, but it's possible.
The way the NFC West is stacking up so far is really bad.
Yeah. All those teams I mentioned, any of those 3 or 6 games are not in the West.
Yeah. It could easily be a 6-0 year in the West for the Rams.
So, yeah. So that's that. Well, I guess we start off the Rams talk there, but you know what I like in the NFL that I think everybody else hates? Except for you and me? Ties.
Ties, baby.
Ties.
The semen slurping sport that Americans always love to call soccer. Now we're getting it in the NFL.
And boys rock. I love it. I think, just out of curiosity, just for I think half of it is just like, one, the ridiculousness of the games just not working out. in the overtime, and the other half of it is just like everybody overreacting to ties being like, because I don't really have a dog in the fight anymore, and so I was just like, this is so fantastic to see these fans just get like butthurt that they can't win and they didn't lose.
No, a tie in the NFL is just, it's almost unconceivable in the modern era with like good offenses and like supposedly good kickers, which was not the case in week 2, which we will get to. But a tie in the NFL was something that happened back with very strong defensive-oriented football and incompetent, primitive offenses. Mm-hmm. So you see a lot of ties in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Yeah.
And then kind of 70s on, it's pretty rare, and it's become only more rare.
Right.
But last year, we had...
Didn't we have 2 years ago we had like 3 or 4 ties?
I think it was last year. Maybe it was 2 years.
One was like Arizona, Seattle.
Arizona, Seattle. An incredible game of missed field goals.
Was it like 3-3 final score? It was like a really, really bad game.
It was one of the worst games ever broadcast on primetime television. Absolutely atrocious. And we also had a London tie, I believe. I'm pretty sure I woke up to a tie.
Let me look this up.
Yeah, I think it was Arizona and Carolina, or Cincinnati and Carolina, which is happening this week. But yeah, I think there was a London tie, which was very fitting.
Wikipedia has a list of tied games.
England sees a lot of tied matches involving a foot and ball. I want to say it was Cincinnati and Carolina, though. Like a real crap-ass game.
There were no ties last year.
Okay, so it was 2 years ago.
There were 2 ties last... it was the tie... Yeah, there's 2 ties in 16.
Back-to-back.
Yeah. It was the
Seattle, Arizona.
And the one you're thinking about is the Redskins-Bengals.
So it was Cincinnati, but London. It was the Deadskins.
The Deadskins. But yeah, that Seattle game was like Hauschka versus Kent.
That was the best tie I've ever seen in my life.
And it was 6-6.
The Pete Carroll face as like
and like him going, oh,
it's so good.
He's been doing that a lot lately. It's good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun Seattle year.
I didn't think he'd run its course, but I think he might be. There's rumors about him going back to USC because Clay Helton's on the hot seat again because he's not winning games.
I think that's better for everyone involved everywhere.
I think Marcellus Wiley was just like, what the hell? They left him high and dry. What the it's like. But I think, I think it would probably be...
USC needs Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Seattle needs a new coach.
Yeah.
Everyone wins.
Yeah, probably an offensive coach or a line, someone who knows how to build an offensive line.
Did you know, Steve? Pete Carroll is the oldest coach in the NFL.
I did know that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to double check.
Yeah.
Somehow is older than Bill Belichick. Not quite sure, but anyway. So, ties this season. It's hard to top week one's tie, right?
Yes.
But I feel like week two's tie is at least on the same level, right?
I think
you have that horrible Clay Matthews roughing the passer penalty.
I think both
on a classic.
We should make a point that
classic Kirk Cousins game-ending.
We should make a point that both are like bitter division rivals.
True.
So that makes it even great for us who are not. In that state,
no dogs in this fight.
They're like, because nobody's happy with the tie except for you and me. And so it's just like,
oh, I love it.
Like, no one's.
But you do have to feel like the Packers got historically robbed. That was one of the worst calls.
Robbed? I'm gonna look that Clay up because I've heard the backlash and people are going.
It's
probably
terrible.
Wouldn't call it.
It's terrible.
It
makes no sense.
Only thing,
I don't like the Packers at all. That was a stupid ass call.
Only thing is that I think there's an ironic point to be made that we would want that call if Aaron Rodgers was the guy getting hit.
Yeah,
I think he's one of the reasons why that happened. Like that's a call. Like
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, there is definitely succinct irony in the fact that Aaron Rodgers loses on a call that gets made because of Aaron Rodgers' importance to the league.
Right.
I understand that, but man, what a shit tier call.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up.
So that tie is pretty great. Week one's tie, definitely better. The Steelers, as they're known, gift the Browns, who are at home, sitting in the pouring Cleveland rain for hours and hours, waiting on their dilly-dilly refrigerators to open up for their first win since the near Christmas miracle against the San Diego Chargers back in 2016. Their last win. And their only win of the 2016 season. The fans are sitting there in the pouring rain. And Le'Veon Bell has decided that the Steelers will not run his ass into the ground. And he's decided, no, fuck you. I know exactly what you're doing. You're not paying me. You're franchising me. And you're basically, it's the opposite of whoring out his body. They're like pimping out his body or whatever. It's basically them, with the leverage that the NFL has and the money they generate, they can just be like, all right, Le'Veon Bell, you're one of the most talented athletes in America. But because there's 53 roster spots, we're going to make you make less money than the sixth man on the Indiana Pacers.
We're going to franchise you again.
And we're going to destroy your brain and body so you are crippled and retarded by the time you're 40. And Le'Veon Bell's like, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't be crippled and retarded by the time I'm 40.
Yeah.
Just so the fucking Steelers can save $5 million a year. God bless them.
Yeah.
I honestly, we have not talked about this before, but I really cannot stand the to its players. It's disgusting for how dangerous their job is and how little they get paid just because the roster spots and the salary cap mean they have to do this, and this is by design.
Yeah.
It's honestly awful.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm glad Le'Veon Bell is taking a stand. I want to see more players take a stand. We need to see more players refuse to get their bodies destroyed to only be out of the league in like 4 years.
Only problem with the Le'Veon Bell situation is he picked the most replaceable position in the league. Like, that is the most disposable position.
He's not just a running back, though.
No, but so his position, but he's not a wide receiver.
Yeah, but he's a dual threat. He's very valuable.
Yeah, but they'll find some. They
Steelers
can find some.
Have not won a game.
That's not because of Le'Veon Bell.
It very well could be. Both games were decided by less than 10 points.
Yeah, but Connor had the guy that replaced him was playing fine. He had like 2 touchdowns in one of those games.
Bell on the team.
I'm not arguing that he should not be thing. I'm just saying like if someone of more value, like quarterback wise, a bigger situation with that.
Oh, of course.
Or even like a right tackle or a center, someone who is valuable to the controlling of the offensive line, like that.
Right.
Like it would probably also get more. Although I think linebackers and running backs get the most actual contact, head-on collision like type.
It's brutal.
But I don't know if you've ever done an Omaha drill.
I've never done any football drills.
Don't do one. Anyway, it's a 2 linemen, 2 O line, 2 D line, one side and a running back on the other, and it's basically like one of the it's like a tug of war, except you're pushing against each other.
Right.
So the running back goes one way, and it's like the offensive line works, and the hole spreads, and the linebacker and the running back come in and like try to get each other and see who wins. It's not fun.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great.
I think they ditched him in practices very quickly once they realized it was that bad for you.
Yeah.
But
my point is not quite as much on the relevance of position, but the need for a collective bargaining agreement that guarantees the health and safety and long-term future of football players.
Yeah.
Because the NFL, despite being the richest league in the world, has no guaranteed contracts.
Is there a way to make that work where you could... Because it's difficult with the way... With the NFL's also the one like league that makes like the most transactions on the daily. The only one being like baseball, and that's transactions from major to minor leagues on the roster. Right. They don't have minor leagues, so they just cut players willy nilly. But those players aren't paying enough. Like it's a strange situation where like you have to figure out, could they swallow those costs and just pay them, and like kind of like what the Lakers just did to Lou Deng, just pay off the contract, just get him out of there.
Yes,
and
easily.
You could probably do that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
$13 billion a year, mate. 13 billion.
How much is revenue?
Number 2 is baseball, I think, at 5.5.
Yeah. 5.5 billion.
Yeah.
Okay. And
NBA and Premier League are around the same, $4 billion.
Those are all guaranteed contracts, though.
Everything's guaranteed except for football.
Yeah.
Which is basically like,
I'm not defending it. I'm just trying to like position the way to find.
It just really sucks.
I'm positioning a way to fix the problem, like where it's like what if there was more guaranteed money for like your starting roster, but they already have like paid money. The other thing is, do any of these guys get signing? The other argument is that the signing bonuses are the guaranteed money. So what the Rams did,
signing bonuses
what the Rams did,
are,
because the Rams would be over the salary cap if they actually paid what they thought they were paying, but they're paying so much money from Kroenke up front to pay all these players.
Right.
They're paying them all up front in signing bonuses. So they're all getting guaranteed money up front and then getting their salary.
Not all, but there's a portion.
A lot of those free agents. The big ones.
The free agent signings.
Yeah, the Talibs, the Cooks, the Sue, the
Peters.
I think they just fixed it with that.
Yeah, sure. But basically, it's hard to look at the richest league in the world, just cast their players aside.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard this. There's a new story out that like Eric Dickerson led this like coalition of Hall of Famers to get health care.
Yes, they need this.
And I think they wanted extra money too, which is a little bit bizarre, but
like the fact that people are mad at the NFL for players kneeling and not mad at the NFL for not protecting their players. Like what the hell is this? Like I just don't understand.
I think the only concern with that, I think in everybody's reaction to the Dickerson thing is that they need to cover everybody and not just the Hall of Famers. Because the Hall of Famers are...
Well, you can prorate it.
Yeah, the Hall of Famers are probably more secure in money-wise and potentially health-wise than like the thousands of players that have played the game that are not good enough to get in the Hall of Fame. Like,
right.
Those people need help too. Like saying
I just don't. What's so hard with you were drafted. That means you get lifetime health insurance.
Yeah.
That's not very costly.
Yeah.
Health insurance compared to $13 billion a year. Mm-hmm. Not very costly.
Yes, considering a lot of these NFL teams are not like the owner's main.
And maybe not even drafted. Maybe just make a roster.
I think the only I think the only NFL owner that it just owns an NFL team, I think, is Mike Davis, Al Davis Jr., the Davis family.
Bullcut Jr.
Bullcut Jr. Bullcut Davis.
What a fucking goon.
And it's obvious to see that the Raiders are the poorest team in the league.
I mean,
Like, they're not going to be soon, but like they like.
I can't imagine how much revenue, like, you think, because maybe not.
Put this way,
They're
like,
playing the Bay Area. They might be making a lot more money than we think.
Don't think so.
Based on
Based on the fact that he's the poorest owner in the league.
just on like whatever
Compared to, like,
evaluations of wealth.
Compared to Jerry Jones, compared to Rooney, the Rooneys, compared to the Maras, compared to the Kroenke's the richest, I think.
I mean, he also owns what, Liverpool?
No, he runs Chelsea.
Oh, that's a ticket
I would
right
know.
there.
I would know
That's
if
a
he-
ticket to print money right there.
I would know if he owned Liverpool.
Those London football teams.
He also
man.
owns. He also owns the two Colorado teams, the Avalanche and the
What the fuck?
Nuggets. Yeah, he owns the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado
Jesus.
Avalanche. So he's got a lot of money. And then, but even like,
fuck is wrong with these
the
people?
con guy, the who owns the Jaguars,
Oh, he's probably the richest.
he might be. But I think let's look
Oil
at it.
money.
Let's oil money. Oil money is going down pretty soon, but
Wasn't going down when he bought the team.
yeah. But like the guy who owns the Falcons is the Home Depot guy. Owns this Home Depot or
Arthur Blank?
Arthur Blank, yeah, he's the Home Depot guy. Okay, actually, Paul Allen is number one.
Well, duh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Paul Allen is number one. Stan Kroenke's number two.
Makes sense.
Saeed Khan is number four.
Ah. Thought he'd be up there,
Robert
man.
Kraft is number five. Jerry Jones number six. The Bills is number seven.
What? Who bought him from Ralph Wilson?
Terrence Pagula.
Pagula?
Yeah. And Stephen Ross is number three. I forgot who he owns. Miami Dolphins.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So anyway, I should look, and I'm pretty sure Bullcut Davis is like number 32
I'm
on
not
the
surprised.
owners list.
But anyway, aside from the owners, if we want to get in also past the safety, we kind of got on a tangent here.
Yeah.
But anyway, through 2 weeks, we like the Rams. We're not too sure about many teams, like the Chiefs' offense. Is there anything else we like?
Oh, do we like?
Talk about what we didn't like.
Oh, you know what I also liked?
What's that?
I liked Vontae Davis like saying "fuck this shit, I'm out of here"
Oh,
to the Bills.
absolutely phenomenal.
He walked. I almost wanted to think.
I hope he becomes a trendsetter.
Hey,
I
like-
want every week just NFL players being like, nigga, I get fucking paid for this shit. I'm dying at 50 and like committing felonies because my brain's fucking retarded.
I just want to
I'm
think
gonna
that he
avoid
walked.
that. I'm gonna retire at halftime because my team fucking sucks.
He's not really been on very good teams.
Yeah, good for him.
So
I'm so happy for him.
it's
The NFL is like literally being like a tour of duty, except more dangerous.
I would only say there's a lot of players coming out and they're not digging the way he just ditched his teammates.
Well, duh. That's because they're still playing.
Some of them are still playing. Some of them are retired. They didn't like it.
Well, those people are idiots. They're
Are they
paid
really
to say
idiots?
that.
Are they-
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think they're idiots.
I mean, you know what those hits do to your head.
Yeah, but like they're all in that position. So like you get. I mean, it's kind of like there's a sort of like military like look after your brothers sort of thing. That it exists. So it does exist.
He was what, 31?
Yeah, he was ready to go. Like I'm not saying he's
paid his dues.
Yeah.
I think there's more people secretly admiring that. Like that's how I'd like to do it.
Okay. Is there a
like
position?
A big fuck you to the league.
Is there? I'm not sure it's fuck you to the league.
I think it is.
I think it's just fuck you to the situation. It's like I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. Would he still be? Would he do that if he was on a winning team?
He probably would not.
I wouldn't think so.
But I mean, it's hard to say.
Maybe. I mean, if he didn't like his teammates,
could you imagine an NFL that had guaranteed contracts and everyone was not, shooting themselves and other people out of like CTE rage? Like we have to imagine a very different football reality.
Could you also make the argument if you had guaranteed contracts, then you could leave the league whenever you want because you knew you're getting that money anyway? So it's like, yeah, okay, cool, bye.
Yep.
So is that
and the NFL would be fine?
Would it be fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
13 billion.
Well, if that, it wouldn't be. Maybe it wouldn't be 13 billion after that. It could be lower than that because of the value of the NFL.
The NFL only makes $2 billion a year.
Less. $2 billion less. I'm
saying 2.
How much does it cost to run the NFL?
Obviously, less than $2 billion. Older generations were more okay with getting literally fucked in the ass on certain things. Our generation and future generations are definitely waking up to like, oh wow, this publicly available data that shows how much money you make and how much you fuck over other people. That's horrible. So things are gonna change. And they should have changed profits made by, NFL owners at the expense of health. Forefront. And I definitely applaud Vontae Davis for stepping aside and saying, this shit ain't. Love to see more of it.
I'm sure
NFL players been like, you know what? I made some money. I'm taking a stance. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Give me some health insurance.
I disagree that this is like a major stance. I think he's just like, I'm tired. I'm going home. I don't think it's like the NFL's fucking me over. I deserve better. I think it's like I've been playing for how many years? I've gone through the shitter,
7
through
or 8.
shitty teams, and I don't feel like doing this anymore. Thing.
I mean, we'll see. I hope I'm right and you're not right, because that would suck. The fact that players aren't taking a stand would suck.
Well, they
players need to take a stand in the NFL. Otherwise, things are going to go
They need a better
south.
union because they, like I said, they're very replaceable. That's the issue. That's the major issue is they're very much like, okay, we'll get somebody else. College is feeding us everything. So like we'll just get the next guy. We have $13 billion. You have how much money? I'm just saying what an uphill battle it is to do that in the first place, and they need the job. What are they? Because they're winning the average. Was the average 4 years? Is the average NFL career?
3.5.
3.5. And how many people become broadcasters? How many people spend the money the right way? A lot of those people. Came out this morning with all those Hall of Famers signing off on like wanting the healthcare. If they want $1 million.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
Why?
Because spent the money poorly. That's not the NFL's problem.
Is it not the NFL? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, hold on, let me think
People
about
want
this.
to play the NBA.
These are retired people, though. This is retired. So
Ball.
if I
People want to play in the NBA. The NFL needs to do something about that.
okay, how much do I pay you to be a part of Lost Beat 6?
We can't.
Disclose that, right?
My lawyer is.
All right. Well, okay. Say that you retired, and I gave you a pension of, I don't know, let's say $1 million, and then you come back.
Can I retire now?
I would feel very disrespected, like those teammates. No, but the idea of I was gonna throw that scenario too. Like, what if one of our guys, what if someone in the Psychedelic Space Beef band just dropped off, leave this shit ain't worth it, and left? You'd be kind of miffed because you were trying to work on something.
Perhaps.
It may have not been going really well, but you know,
If working with Lost Beat 6 basically was a Russian roulette of concussion, brain damage, I don't think I'd be miffed.
I'm sure. Yeah,
You know.
that's it. It's yeah. It is a Russian. I get it. But there's a part of it, even early when you get those, there's like a 30 for 30 about how like poorly prepared draft, kids coming into the draft or that are drafted get all this money right away. They get like generational wealth immediately. It's like kind of like winning the lottery, and you don't know how to spend it. People, and
Yeah, you can't blame that on them
so why not?
because there's an industry of professional sports agents and lawyers that have designed their
Well,
strategies.
you and I know that,
based
so why
on-
don't they know that?
Well, because we did not grow up in, some South Florida shithole where football was our only
Okay.
way out.
But either way, we would know. Like I'm trying to think.
Our
like, even-
perspective is very different than
Yeah,
players that make it into the NFL. Very different.
yeah, but the still
Not
there's-
relatable at all. They mostly come from poor Southern backgrounds
Okay.
with an extended poor
They
Southern
did
family
go to college though, right?
for football. They didn't go
had
to
to go to-
classes.
Yeah, some of them, unless they're Stanford kids,
Right, but most of them don't really actually go to
or
college.
Notre Dame. Even at that, like, so that let's say that doesn't quite work out. Even though I kind of disagree, they should know better. Because we know
I'm fine disagreeing about that.
They have the ability to find out where this is coming from. They can do their own research. Lamar Jackson didn't have an agent, like he's his mom or whatever. So it's like clearly he knew better to distrust agents or whatever he was doing. Even though I think agents probably would have helped him out a little bit. Are you talking about just
separate
like?
point.
Are you talking about like agents being sharks or something like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're in it for themselves, like anyone else's,
Sure. Okay.
and taking advantage of
Would you-
21-year-old poor Southern black football players is pretty easy for these agents.
Yeah, because I think I don't know.
They've
There's
been doing it for
strange.
decades.
There's a strange argument.
Decades.
I'm not sure because there's a lot of debates with Richard Sherman did like represented himself,
Well, that's a little different. I'm talking about
and it didn't
like-
really work. Like these guys they're also professional like negotiators, and those players are not.
right.
Like so,
The Sherman example is a little different, but
even the kids are professional, not professional negotiators.
no.
I would not if you were on a criminal case, if you were on a criminal defense, I would not be wanting to represent myself.
Right. But basically, these college athletes are forced to sign with a handful of agencies that they're all in cahoots. They all know the game. They all know the NFL. Mm-hmm. They all know. They're all. It's just a systematic. All right. This is the market. This is what you're gonna get. This is this. I'm your agent. If you go against me, you have no agent, and you're gonna get a terrible deal. There's not really much of a like competitive sports agency in the NFL. It just is how it is.
Yeah.
Whether or not that can be changed or whether or not it's right or wrong, the main point is that the people that sign with them have no experience in that kind of life or world.
But the Hall of Famers, these are Hall of Fame guys signing this, not the guys that probably should be getting that $1 million of like pension money or extra pension that probably need that money. So like Dickerson and who else was on this list? Dickerson and the other guys, they're saying we need the extra money. Like, well, what'd you do with it? Like, why do you need that extra? Like,
I'm fine with that. Take it from the owners. They made way more money than they should have.
Yeah, okay.
The owners made so much money off sitting off their asses. The players sacrificed their long-term health.
Yeah.
Take it from the owners. They have so much money. They're sitting on billions. Take it from them. What's the problem?
That if you have a tendency to blow money easily, you'll probably be asking for money again. So
that's fine. They did the work. They did the work. They put their body.
They're
on
not doing
line.
the work now. They're doing the work that they did years ago.
Yeah, and the owners are still making money from.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Take it from them.
I mean, I'm fine with money owners just dishing out money. Don't get me wrong.
They should.
That's fine. But like
they should not make that much money.
Not because the guys are like financially illiterate. That's a problem.
Well, is that their case? They said they were too stupid financially. That's what they said?
Yeah, they said they were too stupid financially. Please give us some more NFL Hall of Fame. No, they didn't say that.
Okay, well then what did they say? I haven't heard this.
All right, let me look. All right, let me pause, look it up. You want to take it? Like, I don't know if you want to change the subject for a minute, and I'll come back to it.
All right, so we'll go back to our sports bets now. So we have two parlays we like. We've got a 10 a.m. parlay and a 1 p.m. parlay, Pacific time. So our 10 a.m. parlay, I believe we have. Let me double check this here.
I'm not sure if we agree on the late parlay, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So our early morning parlay, West Coast time. We've got. Let me ditch these late afternoon ones. I believe it's 2 4-teamers. So we've got Colts, Bengals, Falcons, and Broncos. A $10 bet. Oh, what the hell? Where'd they go? Parlay. Colts, Bengals, Falcons, and Broncos. At 10 gets a $10 bet gets you 308. So the Colts, I think they've been pretty hit or miss in the last however many years with luck since they claimed the Pats were deflating balls. This season they've looked pretty good.
They mostly miss because the team couldn't build. Even before then, the team couldn't
mostly
build.
Miss. But this year they've looked pretty good.
Luck's been fine. The team around them has been terrible. They were a Jack Doyle
drop away from winning at the Bengals, which we made money on. And then we've got the Bengals at the Panthers plus 120. These are all money lines. Excuse me. I don't feel that good about the Panthers. And the Bengals kind of look decent. They're 2-0. They've scored a lot. I feel okay. Dalton to Green. I feel okay with the Bengals right now. We've got the Falcons at home against the Saints.
I will say, I think Carolina is. I think
that might be the bracket buster.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Philadelphia might be too.
Falcons at home against the Saints. Saints have not looked good. They should have lost week 2. They did lose week 1. Atlanta's at home, coming off a big win against Carolina. Divisional game, they'll be out full force. I could see that going either way.
I could see that going.
I like Atlanta.
Yeah, I could also see New Orleans like trying to fix itself against a division rival too.
Yeah, true, but they're on the road.
In a dome, by the way. It's just because he's on a road doesn't mean like he's not in a dome.
I mean, true.
There's because we all know about the Drew Brees like home advantage.
Then lastly, we have the Denver Broncos at the Baltimore Ravens. This is mostly a hate pick because we had a 4-team parlay that fucked us.
I didn't consider
because the Ravens we picked to win at home against, or was it on the road? The Thursday night game last week.
They were on the road, yeah. It's at Cincy. I think I didn't consider this a hate pick. I consider Denver this the better team. So
I think Denver is a better team, and I want to bet against Joe Flacco. I'm looking forward to doing that. So we've got Colts plus 220, Cincy plus 120, Falcons minus 170, and Broncos plus 185. A $10 bet nets you 308 on MyBookie. Pretty good for a high risk, high reward bet. I like that one. So, and all of those games are 10 a.m. starts. So you wake up, you watch the early games, and then you know if you're going to win
or not. It's like Christmas morning, dude. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. So next, we apparently might disagree more on this. I have Rams minus 325 against the Chargers. I don't think there's any way they lose that game.
I think there's some way they lose that game.
Yeah, not a fan of that. Bears minus 280 on the road in Arizona. Arizona looks terrible. And then the tough game. You could do Cowboys plus 105 at Seattle, or Seattle minus 125 at home.
I think I'd actually go with the boys.
If we take the boys, a 10 bet
it's based on
gets us 26, not a lot. If we take the Hawks, a 10 bet gets us 21.
Well, I don't even think you should be taking Arizona at all. I'd rather take the Chargers and take my risk with that.
Well, if you do that, then a 10 team gets you 79. But there's basically no way the Chargers are going to win.
I guarantee you the Bears will beat the Cardinals.
Me too.
So why would you take the Cardinals?
I'm not taking the...
the
payout's a lot better. Oh, this is what we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
The Bears, I don't really believe in.
It's not about the Bears, whether you believe it or not, it's how bad Arizona is. Because you know what? That defense is a lot better, and Arizona couldn't get the ball into the enemy territory the entire game in Los Angeles.
This is true.
The entire game. Like, even in garbage time, they couldn't do it.
But you have to take in consideration the Bears have been the closest thing to the Browns of the NFC in the last 7 years.
That's 7 years. I can't take 7 years. I'm talking about now.
You can't take 7 years?
No, because it's not the same team 7 years ago.
No, I'm saying in the last 7 years, they've been consistently terrible.
Yeah, and I'm saying that's not the case.
Why would you say that?
Because Matt Nagy is a clever play caller. They can set up an early game plan for Trubisky. It's not great, but their defense is pretty much going to carry them. And they have a better special teams.
Check things out
Khalil
here.
Mack is why.
Chicago Bears. Season by season.
It doesn't
record.
matter what the season by season is.
I care.
That doesn't matter.
I think it might matter.
I don't think it matters at all, actually.
All right, let's check it out.
Because those are not even in the same coach.
Oh, baby. Here we go.
Who was the coach? Tell me who the coach was.
Well, Lovie Smith up until, 2014?
Okay, he was solid, but John Fox was last year. He was not good. They had that one guy, Trustman, or...
It's actually not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
They've had... excuse me. One winning season in 2012. And then... None
7
of
years
the other
ago.
seasons, except for 2010, were winning seasons. They've lost more than 10 games the last 4 years.
Why does
11, 10,
tell me
13,
again
and
why
11.
that's relevant to right now? Because they didn't have Khalil Mack, they didn't have they didn't have the Nagy guy, they didn't have
Organizational failure from the top down is a real thing.
yeah.
That's what I'm basing this on.
Okay. I think the they botched the draft for sure,
Yeah.
but is it?
I would definitely rather take the Cardinals over the Chargers.
Yeah, completely wrong there.
Let's see what that does. So if we take the Rams, the Cardinals...
Don't take the Rams, take the Chargers.
I'm not going to take both the Cardinals and the Chargers. That's
No, I know.
shooting my
You
dick
shouldn't. You
off.
should not. I'm saying.
Just for the purpose of this bet, I'm going to take the Seahawks. No, I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Cowboys are dogs, by the way. So
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys, the Cardinals, and the Rams. Let's see what that $10 bet gets us. $78. That's not bad. Don't think the Cardinals are going to win, but
Yeah, so don't bet them.
we haven't bet anything yet.
Oh wait, actually, you could do. Wait a minute, hold on. What was
Let's change it. Let's do Chargers, Bears, and Cowboys. See what that gets us. 91. Okay. And we'll see. We ain't making this bet till later. I like our first bet though.
I'm good with the early games. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I like that.
I think they're risky, but I think they could work. I'm very risky about all these things, but
So basically,
I'm waiting for more information to come in about the game plans, the scheduling, and all that.
I think we both agreed the primetime games are stayaways. None of them feel that safe.
No, yes. The only one that's a lock is probably New England.
And even then, we might find out New England's not as good as we thought.
That could be.
Detroit's 0-2. Matt Patricia, incompetent. Actually, I'm talking myself into New England again. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, but certainly...
all you had to say was Matt Patricia.
it was
versus what's his face? Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
It's like,
Not great.
yeah. Give me Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, I guess that New England's the only one we like. Stay away for both the others. So,
Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I got more information on the Hall of Fame boycott situation.
Okay.
So, trying to. Actually, I didn't have the. So it's hard to say because basically what happened was they put a bunch of names. They said they want. I don't actually. I thought I had the letter, but it's actually the reaction letter to Kurt Warner and Jerry Rice.
Okay.
And Kurt, because those are the two people who are like trying to. They're not. They're counter offering.
Right.
They're not necessarily like that's a bad idea. They're like these are great ideas. Here's the issues at hand. This is kind of what I've been saying.
Couple of tweaks.
Yeah, a couple tweaks. And basically, and also the fact that they put a bunch of people on the board that they said they signed off on, like a Declaration of Independence. They said, I did not do that. So it's one of
That
those like,
wasn't
God
me,
damn
man.
it, like NFL union fucking up again, sort of like DeMaurice Smith tier shit.
Right.
Like, And because here's Jerry Rice's response was, while I support any effort to improve health insurance and benefits to all current and retired NFL players, I am not a part of the Hall of Fame board of directors as referenced in this letter today.
Okay.
And we need to continue the meaningful discussions about this issue with the league, the union, the Hall of Fame, as well as we need a new collective CBA. I apply to support the Pro Football Hall of Fame and look forward to attending the 100th anniversary in 2020. 100 years. Huh. Kurt Warner says, where's Kurt Warner's tweet? His response. It has come to my attention that today a letter was sent out addressing Hall of Famers' benefits and profit sharing. While I appreciate the efforts of those spearheading this movement, I fully support the fight to gain better benefits for our past, current, and NFL future players. I was not made aware of this letter, and my name was mistakenly attached to it. I understand that all retired NFL players have been given to advance our league. Sorry, I understand what all retired and NFL players have given to advance our league, and I believe it's extremely important to fight for lifetime benefits for each and every one of them. I feel we can make great case to the NFL for their support of these efforts. However, I do not believe boycotting is the means to the end in this instance. I am hopeful that all sides will come together and have serious conversation about what needs to be accomplished to continue to make our league the greatest in the world for both currently involved and the pioneers in which it was built. Praise God, Jesus Christ. So,
sounds like Kurt Warner was well compensated.
Well, he's a quarterback. All these Hall of Famers were probably well compensated. They have. It's like the
gold what?
Gold medal in the Olympics.
What about the gold medal?
It is actually gold. Like, you get a shitload of money, endorsements, things. All the endorsement money comes after you win the gold medal. You have far more endorsement deals as a Hall of Fame and business opportunities as a Hall of Famer than as a not Hall of Famer. So all the Hall of Famers coming into this saying, we're going to boycott this, is coming in as a means of, like, it's sort of more well-privileged than the guys that didn't get in the Hall of Fame. That are being more, those guys are far more left behind than the Hall of Famers on a relative scale.
So
that's my point. Is like those, you're saying Kurt Warner was well compensated, like, well, he doesn't have to complain, he doesn't have to worry about it, blah blah blah, but most of those guys, Eric Dickerson is a talking head for Fox Sports. As is Kurt Warner, as is Chris Carter, as is a lot of this Hall. They have the ability to. They have a career after the NFL.
Right.
Some of these guys don't.
Most of them
don't. Yeah, you're right. So there's a level of, like, those we have to figure. Those. Those people really need. There's a level of those who need it and those who don't.
Yeah, those are the guys that are, like, shooting their kids and their wives and themselves in the head.
Yeah.
At age 29.
Yeah.
And it's just, another NFL guy went crazy.
Yeah.
Someone's like, why?
So no one seems to be disagreeing that, like, they need to be like medically compensated or financially compensated.
I know who disagrees.
The
NFL owners. Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm talking about, like, just the players, like, there's player dissent or whatever. Well, out of curiosity, because the problem is, like, one of the biggest problems is the union. They have the weakest union in sports.
No guaranteed contracts.
Ever. I think coal miners' unions got better compensation. And I'm still, like, there's a part of me I'm skeptical about guaranteed contracts. To make it a signing bonus or something, but I'm not quite on board, like, because maybe that's just like the Whitlock argument where he's like, well, they'll just leave. Like,
leave for where?
Like, take their money and run, like, and retire. Like, see ya. I got my money. I'm good.
I mean, if there were guaranteed contracts, then you wouldn't see these ridiculous deals. That would resolve itself.
What ridiculous deals?
I don't know, like DeAndre Hall getting like $90 million from the Raiders. Oh. He didn't see all that 90, so when he got cut,
oh yeah,
you know, like you're not going to see these crazy deals if they're guaranteed.
I see what you mean.
So I don't really buy that. But
he would see that money if he decided to retire the next day. There's got to be a clause in the contract somewhere where they can't retire or something like that, right?
I think basically
because
you would see salary go down, but guaranteed money go up, so the cap hits less.
Yeah, which is kind of what the Rams are doing already, right? The salaries are not as big as the signing bonuses.
Well, that's because of Goff being still on the rookie scale.
Sure. But they would be going over the cap if they paid him.
And you
at
got
the cap
all those
rate.
Receivers also on low deals.
Cooper Kupp is the only one I can think of, and Robert Woods is a low deal.
Yeah, main two guys.
All right. Well, Brandon Cooks is getting.
Yeah, they signed him in the offseason. But I mean,
how are we doing on time?
We're at about the hour mark.
Okay. Yeah, we should probably wrap this up, but well, there has to be a clause in terms of like, okay, well, I pay you this much money in guaranteed contract, guaranteed money, and then you can't just book it. There has to be some sort of compensation for that.
Yeah, if you retire, you have to give some of it back. Just make the retirement clause.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's fine.
All right.
But I mean, if you're like a 25-year-old guy,
that's a start. That's a start.
All right. Well,
I was gonna ask how ideas to fix the union, but
it's a little above our expertise.
Yeah. All right, Eric, want to wrap this up?
Yep. So, good night.